Alright boys, we got this Manticore and this HF2 coil back out here again, okay? Now this time we're going to be sweeping that nail there. That mercury dime, this coil will be about 6 1/4 inches above the dime. In this video here, we're going to look at only all-terrain low conductors with the mighty Manticore. Setting the notch to clearly accept that Indian head, okay? No static. 2 inches above where it clearly accepts it. Same goes with this machine over here, except we're going to look at 29 into 53 kilohertz band. Alright. Sensitivity is at 24. This is all-terrain low conductors, speed 5. Okay. You see where that Indian head is painting. You see the ID. Final generation Indian head, speed 5, no iron filter. I believe this is one region, all tones. You see the meter? Two-way signal, you hear that. We got a dot out there on the right to boot. Doesn't give ID all the time. But remember, you've got all that notch in this machine, or all that disc. Two-way signal. Speed 6. You see the ID? That's what's in the window. 75, 80. We have signal, don't we? Here's the air test on that Indian head. Okay. Speed 4. Not so much of an ID. Speed 7. You see that? 6 1/4 inches above that mercury dime. You see it down there. Now, what I'll do in this video, we'll mark this here. And we will re-sweep. Alright. That's just the nail down there. You see where it's painting up there? Alright. That is part of a colonial nail. Okay, she's back in there. Okay. We will re-sweep. Speed 6. So you hear that. It is painting out there, although it's faint. Speed 5. You hear that. Now remember, this is all-terrain low conductors, okay? $20 ago, if the only detector made in the world would have been made, and it would have this machine would have only had that mode on it, it wouldn't have been too damn bad. You know it, boys? Ain't no joke. On low and high conductors, how about that? Let me turn the camera off. We're going to fire this mighty Deus 2 up. That's not going to move. All right, boys, we got this Deus 2 fired up. Fast program, silencer 2. Now, the Manticore was at upper ferrous limits 8 in this video when I showed it, okay? I went back and I double checked it. 95 sensitivity. The machine noise canceled it, turn on. Reactivity 1. Now, here, the notch is at 82. Good, clear Indian head final generation signal, okay? Speed 1 here. I've got 92 in the window. 93. Okay. speed 2. Got 91, 94 in the window. You see it there. Okay, so that's the 29 kilohertz band. Going to the 53 kilohertz band, I'll noise cancel the machine. Okay. We'll start off in speed 1, silencer still at 2. Now, over here I'm going to let the notch down to 81. Good clear signal 2 inches above that engine head, okay? Same standard as I applied to that Manticore. I just didn't back the notch or disc off till I could barely hear it, till I got a good full-fledged signal on it. Okay. Speed 1. Pitch 2 tones. You see the trend there, right? One-way signal. 0.5 reactivity. Nothing to speak of. Speed 2. A lot of one-way signal, and that signal coming left to right is weak when it comes in. Speed 2.5. All right, speed 3. You got to hear that. Speed 4. Very, very weak. Speed 2.5. So you got to see how that machine behaves, okay? Speed 1.5, we'll look at it. That's the 53 kilohertz band, okay? You see it there in the camera. Since the Manticore doesn't take so long, I'm going to keep the camera running. You know, some people may think I'm trying to pull the wool on their eyes. The camera's on that. I'm over here picking up the Manticore, okay? You see that over there? It's over there. I've not touched it. Okay, it's going to come up. You see the upper Ferris limit's 8. One region out of tones. We'll look at several speeds here right quick again. All-terrain, low conductors. I've got just enough disc where I can clearly get a full-fledged signal on that engine head, final generation, 2 inches above. Okay. Speed 4. I'm just going to keep this screen open here. It's windy out here. You can probably still hear that in the camera. Speed 5. Speed 6. Speed 7. Speed 8. Can you hear that in that camera? That's a good signal. Now I did remove that dime down there for this Manticore. I'll go back to speed 6. You get to hear that machine. See that ID popping in that window. But remember, you know how much knots you've got in this machine. I do get some light painting over here on the right side. Okay, dime's coming out. I'm still in speed 6. Horseshoe button disengaged. You don't hear anything in that detector. I'm mashing the horseshoe button. You see where that nail's painting up there? See it? Okay. Some people buying this HF2 Coil, you'll probably do your own test, okay? But you can clearly see for select digging, high conductors, okay? Maybe running it like I'm showing it here, where you're wanting to just get the Indian heads, the silver dimes, the quarters. All right. That one nail right there could, depending on which way you sweep that coil, you may not even hear it, right? That's going to conclude the video.